Hokage, the civilian Genjutsu master who can read minds. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 91. Listen to the corner. Konoha streets. Hey, are you here to buy something? Flying bamboo dragonfly was walking on the way home, feeling helpless, with little Naruto clinging to his feet. Yeah, we finished eating the instant noodles at home. Little Naruto walked quickly, following closely. Flying bamboo dragonfly asked, so why are you following me if you don't go shopping? Long time no see, I want to play with you. Little Naruto grinned. I just came back from a mission and I don't have time to play with you little brat. Eh? Why? My wife and children are waiting for me at home. I want to accompany them, but of course I don't have time to play with you. Phasya Dragonfly said with a smile. Child? Naruto instantly thought of himself. He had never met his parents. When he heard that the strange uncle actually had a child, his eyes changed when he looked at him. The strange uncle is also someone else's father. Where is his father? His expression was visibly depressed. Okay, I seem to have touched on your sadness. I invite you to come to my house and see my baby. Phasya Dragonfly glanced at him, so sensitive. Hey, is it really okay? Little Naruto's blue eyes widened. Originally, I just wanted to invite the weird uncle to play with him, but I didn't expect that he would be invited. With a surprise on his face, he was the first person to invite him except Grandpa third generation. Certainly. Aren't you afraid that I am a demon fox? Little Naruto said cautiously. Flying bamboo dragonfly said disdainfully, only the weak are afraid of the demon fox. If you are strong, you can pinch it just as easily as I can pinch you. Do you think you will be afraid? Naruto blinked and said, then are you a strong person? As expected of the strange uncle, he spoke with great force. Ahem, although I can't defeat the demon fox, it can't outrun me either, said Fey Bamboo Dragonfly. Dragonfly home. Your father is coming back soon, are you happy? Calamus gently rocked the cradle, and the two babies blinked their big eyes. When they heard that their father was coming back, they seemed to feel their mother's happy mood, and both of them smiled happily. Wow. Okay, this is my home, please wait for me outside. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly said to Naruto. Yeah. Little Naruto nodded. Then I started to tidy up my clothes, straightened my hair that had been messed up by the wind, dusted off the dust on the road, cheered up, and smiled. He opened the door and walked in. Honey, I'm back. Ta. After a while, a figure rushed out. Seeing the flying bamboo dragonfly, it swooped into his arms. Finally you're back. If the news hadn't come from time to time, I would have thought you died. Calamus said with red eyes. During the espionage mission, Flying Bamboo Dragonfly will transmit information to the third generation and report safety to his family when he is active as a spy. This is what he has always done. It also made Changpu and Phasya Dongqing less worried. It's okay, your husband, I am very capable. Come on, this is a lilac flower. I heard it represents missing you. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly hugged her and patted her shoulders to comfort her. Thank you. Iris let him go and took the bouquet. I met an acquaintance on the road and he came with me. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly waved to little Naruto, who poked his head outside the door. Little Naruto walked in with a smile, faced Calamus, and said with a smile, hello, sister. Hey, I recognize you. When Dragonfly and I were not married, we were called Naruto, right? Akris saw him and recognized Naruto at a glance. The main reason is that the legend of the Konoha demon fox has never stopped, so it is easier to remember. Yes. While the two of them were chatting, Fey Bamboo Dragonfly couldn't wait any longer. After sensing the location of the two children, he walked towards the children's room. Seeing this, Iris and Naruto followed. Naruto felt so happy at this moment that neither his uncle nor his sister looked at him strangely. Same as before. Although Naruto is stupid, he keeps this kind of thing in mind. Inside the room, Phasya Tanyu and Phasya Maki, two nearly one-year-old babies, were smiling at each other and did not cry at their mother who suddenly left. While laughing, his mouth kept saying wow and wow from time to time. Suddenly, both of them looked at the door of the room keenly. His eyes were filled with expectation. I felt a familiar atmosphere. Wow. Phasya Dragonfly opened the door and saw his two children looking at him intently, waving their little hands and smiling. When Calamus also came in. Mom. the two little guys said immediately. Although it was not clear, the flying bamboo dragonfly still heard it. Hey, my two babies know how to call mom, please call daddy. Feiju Dragonfly's heart melted. She walked up to the baby and said to the two babies. Dad. Dad. The two babies stared at him without blinking. Hey, my baby is so smart. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly also didn't expect that his two children were so smart. At only about 9 months old, he can not only call mom and dad, but also recognize him. As soon as he entered the door, he discovered that the two babies' perceptual talents were particularly strong. Before he came in, he looked outside the door. Their body bones are also very strong. From a perceptual point of view, they are much stronger than ordinary children. Ninja talent will definitely not be too bad in the future. Come, let daddy give you a hug. There were flying bamboos and dragonflies in each hand. Tianyu and Maki didn't cry, but laughed. This is your baby. It's so cute. Little Naruto looked at the two of them. It was at this time that when the two little guys saw Naruto, their smiling faces suddenly changed and they began to cry. Wow. This made little Naruto very embarrassed. It was the first time for him to be close to such a small baby. A bit overwhelmed. You are so keen, can you feel the breath of 9 tails in Naruto's body? Flying Bamboo Dragonfly looked at this scene thoughtfully. It seems that his family is going to be better than others in terms of perception talent. As for surpassing him, how is it possible? He is the time traveler, and he still has this bit of confidence. Although he hopes his children can surpass him. Haha, maybe you are a stranger and they are a little scared. He said to Naruto. Then they left Naruto and had a meal at home, and then Naruto went back. It didn't disturb their family reunion. As he was leaving, he turned back 3 times with envy on his face. Family. I took my wife and 2 children to play for a day, during which Feiju Dongqing also came back. I was very emotional when I saw the flying bamboo dragonfly. It is worthy of his species and is getting better and better. Night. The couple secretly put down their sleeping child and went to the next room. After confirming again and again that they were asleep, they got down to business like a wolf and a tiger. After a long drought comes dew. And just when they were enthusiastic, the 2 babies opened their eyes, and they heard the sound with their keen senses. The 2 were in perfect sync and climbed out of the cradle. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly's previous feeling was correct. Their bodies were indeed strong and they climbed down steadily. Then they crawled towards the wall, silently. When they came to the corner, they didn't move or make any noise. The 2 brothers and sister leaned against the wall together. From time to time, his face would frown. There are the immortal regrets, but I don't regret, and the efforts of other majesties, and I have successfully added an episode today. I was very happy at first, but the game has been catching the baby for more than 10 days. Today, I have tried purple metal more than 10 times, and the success rate is still blessed. In the next week, all failed, I hastily. Dogs don't even play any special games. Episode 92. 15 million tails. Get things done. After cleaning up all traces and smells, the couple returned to the baby's room and saw that they were still sleeping soundly. They both breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Slowly fell asleep on the couch next to the cradle. Only the 2 siblings suddenly blinked and whined at each other. Morning. Little Naruto soaked up his favorite instant noodles and ate them happily. There were also a large and a small connected figure next to him. One was the flying bamboo dragonfly handsome pot version, and the other was little Naruto. Uncle Dragonfly said that when I go to ninja school and input the thing called chakra, these 2 villains can talk. He said it is his greatest work. This thing was given to him by flying bamboo dragonfly yesterday when he left. Now looking at the figure, Naruto grinned. This is the first person to give him a gift. He doesn't know what the greatest work is, but it must be great. I want to learn from Uncle Dragonfly and make 2 dolls as gifts for his 2 babies. Little Naruto smiled, feeling like he wanted to return the favor. Ichiraka ramen. The sign in thorny iron wire's hand was spinning around. Shoda brought him a bowl of hot ramen. After thanking him, he sucked it into his mouth. Spanking uncle, hasn't the teacher come yet? I asked while eating. Shoda laughed and said, he said he would come to help today. Maybe the child is too naughty. My baby is not naughty, he is very well behaved. Outside the door, flying bamboo dragonfly walked in with a smile. No crying, no fuss, no worries. When I think of the son of the fourth generation, the grandson of the third generation, and the son of the seventh generation in the future, at least now it seems that the two boys and his family are very stable and reassuring. Hey, teacher, your face is full of glory, you have been very happy these past few days. Thorny Taisien said. Feiju Dragonfly heard this. Well, speaking of this, Taisien, you are 16 years old, is it time to find a girlfriend? When I was your age, I already knew how to find a partner. If you don't look for it now, it will be difficult to find it later. Teacher, you are only 2 years older than me, don't say you are very old. Hearing this, Thorny Taisien had a speechless expression on his face. Besides, if we look for it now, wouldn't it be a little early? I think it's late. I know a girl who is the same age as you. I will introduce you to her in a while, she is an excellent female ninja. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly laughed. I don't know why, but after I got married, I liked to match others. Well, I feel a sense of accomplishment, haha. He didn't want to change it anyway. Thorny Iron Wire, who do I know? Humph, of course you have to explore this kind of thing, and I will introduce you to him when the time comes. It's best to make a couple, it's perfect. If you don't have the ability, I will introduce you to Irika or Mibu Shinobi. The mysterious secret path of flying bamboo and dragonfly gods. Thorny Taisien was speechless. A girl introduced several people, right? They were acquaintances. How much do you recognize this girl? He did not reject the teacher's kindness. Every time he saw the teacher and his wife, he felt excited and wanted to find his other half. A girl recognized by teachers must be excellent. Okay, introduce him to me when you have time, and I'll try to get along with you. Shirtsu, please return that agency certificate to me. Fei Zukingyi was very satisfied, and then got down to business. This gathering, in addition to reviewing the pros and cons of this trip's missions and actions, as well as wrong behaviors, is mainly about this. The Thorny Iron Wire handed him the token that read Flying Bamboo, Dragonfly, and Sky. Teacher, this thing is amazing, can you give me another one? Snap. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly slapped him on the head. You brat, you think this thing is so easy to make. First of all, this token is made of chakra metal, so that it can adapt to the changes in my chakra properties. You know the price of chakra metal without me telling you, right? Hiss. Thorny Iron Wire took a breath of cold air. As a weapon master and grandmaster of time and space ninjutsu, all the weapons combined would have to be doubled in value to be worth such a large token material. No wonder he felt something was wrong with this token before. Secondly, as I told you, I will stay awake for half a month. You can complete this technique once. Do you know how much effort it takes? Thorny Iron Wire nodded. It's not surprising that such a powerful technique would take a long time to prepare. Secondly, your boy is Chunin. I don't think it will take long. You will be promoted to Special Jonin. It is not good to rely too much on this thing. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly advised. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's review it today. Action summary of the Yuin Village mission. Yes. After giving lessons to his disciples and spending half a day with his father-in-law, Flying Bamboo Dragonfly came to Konoha's resources department. Received the money from his S-level mission. 15 million, this is his money as captain, like a thorn wire, only 8 million. Might as well buy some chakra metal. Yes, chakra metal is so expensive. The double swords in Asma's hand in the original work are more valuable than Asma himself. Oh yeah, I'm finally no longer a soft-boiled man. He is also the Jonin who earns 500,000 yuan a month. The money from S-level missions, plus monthly salary, and money from the previous 3 wars. Although a lot of money was spent on various tasks and training. But he also has a lot of savings. You can buy more things and maintain your own training. Training is also very expensive, such as storage scrolls and so on, which cost him 1 month's salary. Real. Sometimes when I think about Boruto going around, Sasuke's family is still paying off the mortgage, it's not unreasonable for Choji to feel Asuma's heartache. Most of the ninja's funds are spent on life-saving ninja tools. If I can't finish 5 laps, I'll kick my legs 1,500 times, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just after I got the money and wanted to go home, I suddenly heard a familiar voice. Looking for fame, boy, watermelon head tights. She moved her steps lightly, as if she hadn't seen him, and moved lightly past Kai, who was walking upside down. He felt the special bandage hadn't been made yet, which was great. Due to the special nature of the bandage, if you want to make a bandage into an infinite space carrier, it cannot be made from ordinary cloth, so he has not worn a bandage around his head in the past few days. Now he was very glad that he hadn't done it in advance. When watching the anime, Kai's clothes and hairstyle are funny, but it's different when a real person appears in front of you. Just like your best friend cosplayer Kai, he not only wears tights, a watermelon head, and slightly convex acorns, but also goes shopping with you. In that scene, the scalp of flying bamboo dragonfly will be numb. He certainly won't recognize me. Flying bamboo dragonfly prayed in his heart that Met Kai would never recognize his former classmate as a handsome guy. Ta ta ta. Hey, it's Dragonfly. Long time no see. Do you want to have an exciting handstand competition? A frightening scene occurred. Kai suddenly turned his head towards him, smiling and flashing the white fang. Episode 93. Dangerous Person. Yuin Village. Pen 6 Paths stood on the tower again, looking at the residential buildings below. Nagato himself went out in person and used the power of the Samsara Eye, which was more powerful than the puppet, to break the seal of the flying bamboo dragonfly from the outside. Retrieve the Pen 6 Paths puppet. Hey, is that guy so strong? It seems that it's a bit difficult to change the world by cooperating with you. The Uzumaki man stood next to them and looked at Tiandao teasingly. He didn't expect that Nagato, who had the Rinnegan Eye, would stumble in the hands of an ordinary Konoha ninja, and it would be a big stumble. Whoosh! A breeze came from high in the sky, blowing the robe. Tiandao, that is indeed an amazing ninja. Although he is not as proud as your Sharingan, Genjutsu is no worse than Sharingan. As for not wanting to cooperate, just leave. I have never asked to cooperate with you. You have relied on it yourself. Tiandao Pain glanced at him lightly. He didn't refute Fei Bamboo Dragonfly's ability, it was indeed overturned. That must be the genius of Konoha. Teacher Jiraiya was right, Konoha's genius has never been cut off. But next time it won't be so easy to let him escape. Ah, it's just a joke. We still need to cooperate. After all, if you can't handle a ninja, someone else may not be able to handle it, the Uzumaki man said with a smile. The important thing is the physical constitution suitable for cultivating the Samsara Eye, which is too few. As for not being worse than Sharingan? You know nothing about Sharingan's power. Conan, have you collected any information about that guy? Tiandao looked at Conan. Conan took out a piece of information, yes, but not much. Although the other party is Konoha Jonin, he is too low-key, and Zetsu's attention is not focused on him. These are just ordinary information. Tiandao took the information. Having experienced 3 wars, he was born in the Konoha analysis class. He has excellent mind-reading skills and perception abilities. The outstanding Genjutsu is currently the squad leader of the analysis class. Jonin's qualifications are mediocre. There is no big background. Are you a civilian genius? It seems that there are people like Sanin and Namake's Minato coming out of Konoha again. Kaido Pain deeply feels that it is not easy to change the world, but he will not give up his ideals. As long as we start from the surrounding small countries, raise funds to develop the Akatsuki organization, establish a ninja village-like organization that does not belong to the country, slowly eat away at the mission resources belonging to the big countries, and divide the capital investment of the big countries in the ninja village. Sooner or later, the ninja village. The strength will be unprecedentedly weak, and then. Is he comparable to the 4th Hokage? He is not qualified. I have fought with the 4th generation and I know his strength and talent. If I had not planned to eradicate him, Konoha would be even stronger now. Uzumaki man said about Pain's take. Compared with 4th generation, flying bamboo dragonfly feels disdainful. Thinking of the previous battle in Konoha, if it weren't for the power of 9 tails and white Zetsu, he would have fallen within a few rounds. Konoha Street. Everyone looked at the strange human being walking upside down and received strange looks. The flying bamboo dragonfly who was greeted was actually recognized and could only smile awkwardly and said, I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Lift your legs and walk. Dragonfly, I heard that you have completed another S-level mission. It's really amazing. Come with me for a passionate battle of youth. Kai stood up and declared a challenge to Feiju Dragonfly. I have said so. Flying bamboo dragonfly suddenly had an idea. Well, let's not compete in physical skills, but compete in handstand circles to see who can finish 5 laps of Konoha first. With nothing to do, he had a fun idea. Eh? Kai's eyes shone brightly, and Dragonfly finally recognized his move. Yoshi, this is considered youth. Come on, let's see who finishes first. Bang! As soon as Kai finished speaking, the flying bamboo dragonfly transformed. The handsome flying bamboo dragonfly is already a thing of the past. What he sees now is the same red tights as Kai's, a green watermelon head, and Wang Baoqiang's face. Flying bamboo dragonfly channeled a mirror and came out, looked at it, and was very satisfied. Alright, hot youth, 5 rounds of handstand Konoha begins. After saying that, he stood on his head and winked at Kai. Kai was already stunned, pointing a trembling finger at him. Why did you transform? Whether you want to run or not, I'm ready. Isn't it because you're afraid of losing? Flying bamboo dragonfly mocked. Damn it, you ugly red youth, I will not lose to you. Kai despised his taste. Green is the color of youth. With the thought that he must win, he also stood on his head, swinging his hands quickly, and ran ahead. I will definitely win you, ugly red. What a joke, how can your humble green color compare to me? Aha, green is youth. My head is also green, and I am also young. Ta ta ta. The sound faded away. Only then did the onlookers start laughing. That tights, and that delightful color, are too tacky, really too tacky. I know that man. He seems to be the son of Gen and Matdai from 10,000 years ago. It's him, so it's not surprising. Who's the red one? It could be his brother. This taste. From then on, the residents had another legend about the 2 colors of Konoha. But only Kai was recognized, and who the red figure was will remain a mystery from now on. Only Kai's wounded world was reached. Don't say it. Wearing a mask and running shamelessly on the street gave the impulsive flying bamboo dragonfly an inexplicable sense of relief. Omega. This is the mentality of the blogger who wore Digga clothes, high heels, and pole dancing in the short video of the previous life. Oh, cool. After a stressful and exciting mission, it was quite refreshing, or relaxing, to do a shameful action in the village. He felt comfortable, but Kai next to him was already furious. Hateful. This guy's red tights are too shameful and too vulgar. Kai felt the strange eyes of the residents, and felt that today's youth is shameful. He didn't expect flying bamboo dragonfly to be so vulgar. The tights of this color are simply vulgar. He must not compete with dragonfly next time. It's okay not to have such a vulgar youth. Heresy. Kai questioned the flying bamboo dragonfly's red youth. Red and green youths ran on the streets, and all the residents passing by were stunned. Even the Uchiha guards didn't want to get close when they saw them on patrol. They felt their eyes were insulted. Damn it, if I lose to you, I will do 1,500 kicks and 800 push-ups today. In order to win, Kai opened his mouth and was bound by an oath. Flying bamboo dragonfly's hands were very fast, and he and Kai ran around Konoha in no particular order. To put it bluntly, his physical skills are also at the T0 level in Konoha. This is to prepare for the alien enemies he may face in the future. He is already prepared to develop a unique phantom skill. Facing Kai, he was fearless. Anyway, he is not his true face, so he doesn't need to care about other people's opinions. Just as they passed a training ground, a suspicious voice sounded, "Hey, Kai, Dragonfly, what are you doing?" Kaka. Kai and Flying Bamboo Dragonfly were instantly petrified. It's so shameful to be caught competing with such a vulgar dragonfly. I finally relaxed when I got home, and I didn't maintain the information barrier to resist prying eyes, so I was recognized. Episode 94. Relieving stress. On the road of Konoha. So, why should I exercise with you? Kakashi stood on his hands and followed the 2 green and red figures in front of him. Dead Fish Eyes is speechless. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly, because you know too much. Kai, swoosh, yes, you know too much. After all, he was still young and not thick-skinned enough. He was hit by the fists and sticks of Feiju and Dragonfly, but he still followed them. Kakashi was speechless. He finally took a rest today. On his 18th birthday a few days ago, he received a birthday gift from Jiraiya-sama, the latest version of Intimate Heaven. After just preparing to finish training, I continued to watch and study, but unexpectedly I met these 2 guys. It's really not a good day today. Hey, Kakashi, what is this? Flying Bamboo Dragonfly, who was walking in front, unexpectedly had a book in his hand. The 4 big characters on it are Intimate Paradise. When Kai heard this, his eyes flashed brightly and he grabbed it. Stop, that's just a book about love. Kakashi blushed instantly and climbed up to grab it back. It's not like his old friend to be so impatient. Kai instantly understood that this was no ordinary book. Love, what a great word. It must be a particularly good book to attract the attention of this old friend. Kai jumped up with one hand and opened the pages of the book as he walked. In order to retaliate against him for seeing through his disguise, flying bamboo dragonfly blocked Kakashi's path. Wow, oh, I don't have any other wishes for the future of life. I only hope that I can be intoxicated and sink in all love. This cup of love must be drunk and drunk. Kai started reading. Although it was not his specialty, he still felt something. But gradually something went wrong, because some of the storylines in it made even Kai, a big brain, blush. With a red face, he threw it to Feiju Dragonfly. Let me show you, it's so shameful, I'm still a child. Kakashi wanted to grab it, but how could it be possible? Except for Kai and a few old guys from the Warring States period, no one was better than him in physical skills. I picked up the book and started reading. The value of love lies not only in possession. Sometimes love is sacrificed, but love may become eternal. After reading this, Flying Bamboo Dragonfly looked at the cover and saw that it was indeed written by Jiraiya. Oh, you are indeed a genius, Kakashi. He is still reading Jiraiya-sama's book. I recognize his work. He also didn't expect that Jiraiya still had such literary talent, and people should not be judged by their appearance. Give it back to me. While he was speaking, Kakashi snatched the book back. This book is full of love qualities. I suggest you buy a copy. I think it contains the qualities necessary for a ninja. Invincible youth is the essential quality for a ninja. Learn from me, Kakashi. Kai didn't want to see that kind of thing. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly, I am different from you. You are still looking for the quality of love. I have passed on the will of fire. Let me tell you, my two children are so cute and well-behaved. This is real love. Do you want to fall in love? I can ask my wife to introduce you to her. She still knows some outstanding girls. Kai and Kakashi heard this, looked at each other, and crawled away quickly. The flying bamboo dragonfly was so disgusting. Hey, wait, don't walk so fast. Let me tell you, children are the future of Konoha. If they are born early, they will inherit early. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly sped up and caught up. He really wanted to introduce a girl to these two classmates to make up for their lonely bachelor life. It's definitely not a bad idea. Bang! Ah, it's over. It's been a very hot and youthful day. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly released the transformation, stretched, wiped his sweat and said with a smile. I feel like all the pressure has been released. This sudden thought was indeed right. In the process of performing tasks, ninjas will accumulate a lot of mental fatigue, which is also a process of accumulating spiritual energy. Although ninjas have extraordinary strength and rarely suffer from war syndrome, they also accumulate a lot of stress during missions, and they need to find ways to release the stress. Some ninjas just can't release the pressure and can't retire casually, so they do sad things. He mutilated his legs and hands and retired from the army due to physical disability. Those who do not have this determination will defect from the ninja village and become wandering ninjas, relying on the power of ninjas to make a living. Of course, female ninjas are more friendly and can retire due to pregnancy. Most ninja villages are doing this. Quite a few. Different ninjas release stress in different ways. Kai's youth training, Kakashi's never leaving books, Jiraiya's voyeurism and writing books, Tsunade's gambling, etc., so most ninjas have their own unique personalities. Flying bamboo dragonflies are naturally stressed too. He has great talent, but he is also a human being, and being a human being brings pressure. This kind of funny behavior of wearing a mask can also relieve stress to a certain extent. Well, the will of fire also has this effect, not just brainwashing. Whether it is Konoha's will of fire or Wagakure's will of stone, they are both a type of faith, and faith can greatly relieve stress. Therefore, although he does not believe in the will of fire, he does not forget to preach it to his disciples and younger generations, so that they can have faith and relieve the pressure on ninjas. Of course, will of fire is really easy to use, which is also one of the reasons. Hey, don't train with Dragonfly anymore. Your transformation is too vulgar. After the exercise, Kai lost, but he kept complaining that it was Feiju Dragonfly's ugly clothes and appearance that affected him. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly curled her lips and said, "You dress very well, no wonder you can't find a girlfriend." Puff. Kai seemed to have been stabbed in the heart again, pointing at him and trembling. It has nothing to do with me not finding a girlfriend. You can't even think of attacking me with such handsome and breathable clothes. Well, maybe you can't find him because of your clothing. Kakashi stabbed him in the side again. Kakashi, you, oh no. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly looked at Kakashi and shook his head. You are also very rustic. Look at this hedgehog head with a mask. Dogs will shake their heads just looking at it. Puff. Hey, I remember you also had a bandage wrapped around your face. You found it at that time, right? Kakashi almost choked. He just doesn't want to look for her. He had a lot of fans back then, and he has many fans now. What's wrong with your mask? You still have a bandage all over your head. Hey, I'm not stupid, I will take it off when we live in the world of two. Hey, Kakashi, I see that 4th generation son Naruto looks lonely every day. Don't you usually visit him? Flying Bamboo Dragonfly stopped attacking the two singles and asked a curious question. 3rd generation has never told him not to approach Jinchuriki, which means that other people probably haven't been told either. He really wanted to know what kind of mentality Kakashi was in, so he didn't go to visit him openly. Always watching secretly. Episode 95. Other People's Children. Above Hokage Rock. After hearing the words of Flying Bamboo Dragonfly, Kakashi looked at Konoha below. It's okay. That child has to live his own life, and I'm not interfering with him. It's boring. If I were a disciple of the 4th generation, I would take him out to play every day. Feiju Dragonfly pouted. He didn't get any answers, which made him feel bored. I thought I would get an interesting answer. Kai, then you should quickly find the quality of love in the book, Kakashi. Encouragement and companionship are things that he believes are useful to the younger generation, but he is sensitive and will not interfere too much with Kakashi. Everyone thinks differently. Yeah. Kakashi was silent. Later, at the suggestion of Feiju Dragonfly, the three of them discussed their understanding of taijutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu with each other, and made mutual progress. This is also one of the few exchanges between their classmates, besides eating and drinking. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly has a family, and Kakashi and Kai are task-obsessed, and they can't talk about normal life. The three of them are all geniuses and can improve each other. Without a system, Flying Bamboo Dragonfly's path to becoming stronger naturally progresses through communication. From the beginning of 3rd generation's guidance, reading the works of sages, and discussing with various classmates, I have made little progress. Once again, it is to read the enemy's memory and collide with other people's ideas. Working behind closed doors is never a wise approach. Whether he is competing with others, watching the works of sages, or occasionally teaching younger generations, he can get inspiration in some aspects and make progress. Whether it's Kai or Kakashi, they are all beings called Jonin at a young age. If you communicate with them, you will naturally gain more. Just like teaching a student, it can even make his brain absorb knowledge faster. When a person thinks alone, that is talent. Gathering the thinking of countless people is wisdom. This is the idea of Flying Bamboo Dragonfly. The heated discussion passed quickly, and the three of them gained a lot. Feiju and Dragonfly went home to take care of their children, Kakashi went to secretly read a book, and Kai went to carry out the punishment for losing. Whoosh! The red Magatama appears in the dark night, and Shursui appears in Hokage's office. Half kneeling in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Master Hokage, according to your information, there were no high-level family missions some time ago. Uchiha Shursui will report the information obtained during the investigation. Sarutobi Hiruzen heard this. Has there been any Uchiha left behind in the past? As one of the backbones of Konoha and the successor of the Will of Fire, Thorny Iron Wire has no reason to lie about information. And he also verified with Danzo's men that the enemy was indeed the one who owned the Sharingan. But now, there is no corresponding person in the Uchiha family, which is very similar to the Nine-Tails cholera before. Obviously, everyone in the Uchiha family is under Umbu's supervision, but something mysterious happened. There are only a few possibilities now. That is, someone took Uchiha's blood inheritance limit. Uchiha has hid it from everyone. There are tribesmen living in the outside world, and they are taking certain actions. Or maybe there is blood left in the outside world. Just like the people from the Kingdom of Whirlpool. According to family records, there are no Uchiha people left outside, at least there are no records after the end of the Warring States period. Uchiha Shursui reported the situation in detail. Not even during the Warring States period. During that period of chaos, more people in the family died, the number of people was smaller, and the records were clearer. But ninja will not rule out any possibility. Shursui was also shocked that Uchiha actually had a tribe wandering around in the outside world. And according to third-generation Sama's information, the opponent is likely to have mastered the power of Mangekyo Sharingan. Also mastered with style. That is the power of first-generation Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara to calm down the troubled times. One person can master both. This made him feel even heavier. This incident will make Uchiha's situation in Konoha even more passive. It will also make Hokage's suspicion of Uchiha even higher. Ta. Sarutobi Hiruzen tapped his index finger on the table, lost in thought. Barring all odds, that might still be too much. For example, now he not only suspects Uchiha's internal planning, but also suspects that his disciple Orochimaru is behind it. Because during the period when Orochimaru was winning glory for Konoha, it was also during the war that many Uchiha died, although most of them had their eyes restored. But there are also missing ones. He suspected that when Orochimaru was conducting human experiments, someone in Uchiha may have been kidnapped. You should go back first, and be sure to pay attention to possible information. Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Yes. Call out. The next day. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly is using her finishing touch to make several fantasy beasts with cradles on their backs, dragging two little ones to fly around the room. Wow. The two babies were very excited and experienced the feeling of flying. But before he had been with him for long, an Umbu sent a message, and Master Hokage asked him to come over. Speechless, Flying Bamboo Dragonfly had no choice but to leave her child with Akaris and set off for Hokage's office. How about it, is it easy to take care of the kid? Sarutobi Hiruzen teased with a smile. It must be very uncomfortable. Only those who have raised children know that it is much more difficult than killing people on the battlefield. In his family, he only has the eldest son, Sarutobi Shinosuke, who is more stable. Asuma was enough to give him a headache. Now that the backbone of Konoha has a child, he must have the same feelings as him. It's easy to take care of. He doesn't cry or fuss. He recognized me as his father as soon as he came back. I smile every day and know how to scream when shit comes easily. I never thought that raising children could be so easy. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly feels pretty good, and his two boys are very easy to take care of. There was nothing that made him feel bad. Although it was a bit strange at certain times, the clothes on my body always got some dust at night. He also monitored them, but both children were safe and sound. No abnormalities were found. Good, easy to carry? Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was full of questions. The Sarutobi family is quite big, and now they have nannies to take care of their children when their parents go out on missions. But even so, when facing his 10-month-old grandson Konohamaru, his head was getting big. There's a lot of fuss every day. Sometimes when I hold him, I even try to urinate for him. If you don't hold it, you won't pee. If you hold it, you will pee. Yes, I heard that your grandson was born a month earlier than my child. He must be better behaved than my child. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly felt that there was something wrong with third generation's expression. There is nothing difficult about raising children, and they are not children who grow up and have their own ideas. For example, Naruto, Konohamaru, Inuzuka Hana, these little brats with ideas. Now he's less than a year old, so as long as he's safe and can change diapers, it's very easy. You don't even need to coax him, he just laughs when he is teased, and he calls him daddy when he is called daddy. Sarutobi Hiruzen was jealous. Good guy, no matter whose child it is, it's hard to take care of your child. Okay, let's not talk about family matters anymore. I asked you to come here this time because I have serious business. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to talk about this anymore, so he suddenly created someone else's child. Depend on. Thank you again for the strong support of the immortal regrets, but I don't, as well as the support of His Majesty all over the world. Although I didn't raise enough 1,000 to generate electricity for love yesterday, I moved the excess from the day before yesterday to today, which is almost perfect. Enough for one episode. Today the game was successful and sold for 400 yuan worth of power for love. The game is really fun. Episode 96. Important events. Hokage office. What's going on? Flying Bamboo Dragonfly was confused. Is his vacation already over? Really? Sarutobi Hiruzen said, "It's been so many days since you came back, and Haiichi has already complained about the position of analysis squad leader, saying that if you don't go back to take on the important responsibility, he won't have time to spend time with his children." Previously, when Flying Bamboo Dragonfly performed its mission, the analysis team was concurrently headed by Hai, the head of the team. But after experiencing the upper management style and now having another position, Yamanaka couldn't go back. This part-time job did not give him a salary increase. The important thing is that there is no one in the analysis team who can reassure him, the head of the intelligence department. So Sarutobi Hiruzen received it, nagging a complaining intelligence minister. As Konoha Hokage hardcore Yamanaka Haiichi, he had to listen again. It just so happened that he originally wanted to give Flying Bamboo Dragonfly more time to rest. But the small talk just now made him feel unbalanced. It would be better to let Fisha Kingfang go to work. This is too fast, I only have a few days of rest. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly immediately became dejected, like a migrant worker who was suddenly laid off. I thought that besides spending the rest of my time with my children and my wife, I would study ninjutsu for 6 pass level ninjas. Didn't expect it to be so fast. There were still more than 10 years left before the Fourth War, and he thought it was time to prepare to deal with 6 pass level ninjas who had no effect on ordinary ninjutsu. He could wait for Naruto and Sasuke to deal with the boss, but he couldn't accept that he was incapable of dealing with it. That would be very insecure. Now that he has the ability to survive even when facing 6 pass pain, he has this plan. Just go to work. Anyway, the amount of chakra now has reached more than 3 times that of Kakashi. In a few years, he will catch up with the amount of chakra of 3rd generation. Using a shadow clone to practice is a little less efficient, but it's not a problem. Well, there is also the matter of the barriers class. I need you to continue to study it. Although the prototype of the barriers technique has been completed, I think it can still be improved. Make that barriers technique even more perfect. Hiruzen Sarutobi did not put down the development of the barriers technique of the barriers class during the mission of Flying Bamboo Dragonfly. The inverted golden bell barriers, which was almost the same as before, has been conquered by the Hyuga Iron Eyes team. But there are still flaws, and he hopes that this ninjutsu, which can protect the village, will be more perfect. Clear. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly is already familiar with this. Anyway, it has been doing these things before the mission of the Kingdom of Rain. Then shall I leave now? He asked. One more thing. Your disciple, Thorn-type Iron Wire, has been promoted to a special jonin. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a smile. This is worthy of congratulations. Konoha has another jonin. And this jonin was taught by Flying Bamboo Dragonfly, which is really an outstanding ability. That's really nice. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly has already expected it, and Taixian already has enough capabilities. Then I'll leave first. One more thing. As soon as he opened his legs, Sarutobi Hiruzen said. What do you think of the incident in Amigakure village and their leader? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. Due to the Samsara Eye, this matter could not be discussed by all high-level officials, so he wanted to ask the person involved what he thought. The Samsara Eye is too important. If one fails, war will break out again. To avoid this, he withheld this information. Corresponding measures have also been taken. That's the matter of other ninja villages, we can't care so much, right? And we only know that the opponent has the power of Samsara Eye, Sharingan, and Wood Style. There is only some information about ninjas in the Hidden Rain village. Nothing can be done. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly didn't have any opinion. What he thought in his heart was to let junior brother Nagato handle it when the time comes. Or maybe Jiraiya showed his former netizens meme and became the invincible intelligence Jiraiya. He took the intelligence he collected and beat Pain to the point where he couldn't recognize him. He didn't really want to face the super powerful planetary devastation of Nagato's true form. This kind of super wide AoE skill should be left to Nine Tails Naruto. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded when he heard this, and did not expect to get any unexpected opinions. The power of these people was indeed too strong. In the absence of conflict, it is indeed inappropriate for a war to occur. Then, I'm leaving first? Feiju Dragonfly was afraid that he had something else to do. One more thing. Is it really true? A big question mark flashed through Feiju Dragonfly's heart. Sarutobi Hiruzen said cautiously, in 1 month, the guard agency responsible for guarding the daimyo under the 12 guardian ninjas of the Land of Fire will send a team of ninjas to Konoha to learn The project is to solve Genjutsu. Aha, you won't let me go, will you? Flying bamboo dragonfly pointed at himself. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen shake his head after hearing this, he breathed a sigh of relief. He really thought of him as a cow. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, "It's you, as well as the Konoha Genjutsu family, Yuhi Kurenai of the Yuhi family, Kurama Tsongyun, the leader of the Kurama clan. You are all famous Genjutsu masters, so this is your mission." Yes. Although Flying Bamboo Dragonfly was speechless, he was also interested. The Yuhi family had a Genjutsu master like Yuhi Mako, who couldn't even crack Uchiha Sharingan. The Kurama family was even more powerful. Every few generations, a genius would appear. Each one of them is a high-end Genjutsu talent in the ninja world. It's just a pity that Yuhi Mahong died during the fight against Nine Tails. The Kurama family has also gradually declined in the constant war. The family that once supplied countless jonin to Konoha is now a small family. But there must be something in their library. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly does not say that it covets other people's Genjutsu, but with years of wisdom and clever brains, it can gain some wool from their actions. This still feels more than enough. There is also the one who created the Yin style with no nature change and exerted the ultimate power, the owner of the blood succession limit, Kurama Yakumo. I don't know if this world exists. If he were there, he would be able to learn from the power of Genjutsu to deceive the world and Yin style and reach new heights. To achieve the purpose of controlling the weather. Then, I'm leaving? Flying Bamboo Dragonfly asked again. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded, feeling that he had gone too far. Call out. As soon as he nodded, the Flying Bamboo Dragonfly couldn't wait to run away. A nagging old man. That is, after he left, Old Man Danzo walked out of the darkness. Hiruzen, is there no problem with sending him to teach the people of the guard agency? You know, the nobles of Daming Mansion and Fire Country. Bloodline is very important, and there is no doubt about Flying Bamboo Dragonfly's ability. But after all, he is just a civilian. If he is captured by the guards, using this as an excuse to reduce Konoha's military spending is not a good idea. Shimura Danzo said. This is not a time of war. Cutting military expenditures has always been what the daimyo and some nobles want to do. You have to believe in the abilities of Flying Bamboo Dragonfly, and you won't let them use this as an excuse. Sarutobi Hiruzen had his own plan. Episode 97. Guarding the 12 Ninja, Guards Agency. In the Kingdom of Fire, it protects the 12 ninjas and is the bodyguard organization under their command. An armed organization directly affiliated with the daimyos of the Land of Fire. Those who can become the guardians of the 12 ninjas all come from this organization. After many screenings, he finally became the guardian of the Fire Nation, the 12 ninjas, and became a high-ranking member of one of the Fire Nation's highest armed organizations. It is the strongest armed organization besides Konoha. It is an organization directly under the responsibility of protecting the Daming Mansion. It is under the protection of such an organization that the Daiming can live well, despite being offered bounties by various forces. It contains the most elite ninjas in the Land of Fire. There are those from Konoha, ninja temples like the Fire Temple, and those selected from the noble elites of various ministries. The protection of ninjas who specialize in taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, barriers, seals, secret techniques, etc., can be said to be unbreakable. The 12 ninja guards are the top brass, and the guards agency is the main force. In the 5 major ninja villages, including other small villages, there are wandering ninjas. Every year, ninjas go out to assassinate them one after another, but they come back defeated. Maybe a single ninja is just an elite among the jonin, similar to the strength of Asuma and Chiriku. But a group fight would be quite outrageous. Everyone has unique abilities. According to Konoha records, during the Warring States period, there was an incident of tailed beast cholera. The Guardian 12 ninja only dispatched 5 jonin and killed the tailed beast, yes, killed it. Very targeted. Even the 5 major villages didn't know how many jonin they had to lose in order to seal the tailed beasts. Although there is a difference in difficulty between killing and sealing, the power within Daming Mansion can also be seen. The people sent by the guards agency to learn how to interpret Genjutsu are really hard at it. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly thought about the information about the relationship between the guards agencies of the Fire Country. Every few years, the Fire Nation would send people to learn from Konoha, Fire Temple, and other ninja forces for advice. Not only does he do his own research, he also learns from other forces. This made him sigh that most of the 80,000 ninja army in the original book were the military forces of the 5 major countries. Those in the previous life boasted that the third generation knew politics, but in front of the daimyo and other nobles, the third generation knew nothing about politics. Since the Warring States period, the people who have dominated the world have never been the so-called blood successor families, but the great names of the Land of Fire. 5 major countries. Of course, the cutting-edge power will always be found in the 5 great ninja villages. But it would be a bit of a dream to want just any genjutsu to control the daimyo and seize the right to control the great powers. Controlling a daimyo is no less difficult than Kai being a Hokage. But the people in these institutions are not easy to get along with. A daimyo is also a noble, the top noble. And nobles basically have something wrong with them. That is looking down on civilians, just like Uchiha looks down on ordinary people. People who can enter the guard's agency naturally look down on the ninjas of the ninja village. He is naturally arrogant and does not have the status of a noble. If he wants to be recognized, it depends on his ability. The nobles who are more talkative, such as Sarutobi, Shimura, and Inakacho, are already a minority among the minority. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly is not worried, he is still confident in his abilities. Why do you want to learn Genjutsu? I think I still need to learn this aspect. With his current strength, even the Sharingan and the Samsara I can be tricked, which is more than enough to deal with the people of these guards. Maybe he could learn some ninjutsu from these people that Konoha didn't have. For example, Earthland's Senju killing secret technique or something like that. Calamus, keep an eye on the 2 little guys, I'm going to work. After Fei Zhu and Dragonfly said hello to Calamus and the 2 little guys, they took advantage of the morning light to go to work. Walking on the street, I said hello to some acquaintances. As soon as I arrived at the analysis class and the squad leader's office, I saw Yamanaka Haiichi lying on the table, sweating. Hey, Minister Haiichi, wake up. Huh? Who doesn't know I'm sleeping? Yamanaka opened his eyes in a daze, and what caught his eye was a pale blue eye with a white head. Stunned. Who are you? I just woke up and haven't come back to my senses yet. After finishing speaking, I looked at the speechless eyes of Fei Bamboo Dragonfly before I realized what I was doing. Ahem, it's you, kid. Why don't you wear that ugly bandage today? When Yamanaka Haiichi looked at this face, he felt that it was more pleasing to the eye than a flying bamboo dragonfly with a face full of bandages. Now his appearance has seriously threatened his status as the most handsome man in the intelligence department. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly spread his hands and said, I can't help it. I lost the mission before and haven't made a new one yet. He also wanted to tie her up. As a married man, he frequently received flirtatious looks from girls while walking on the street, which had a bad influence. It's just an ordinary bandage, which is a bit uncomfortable to wear. The new special bandage is not finished yet. It's still a bit difficult. A bandage carrying a super powerful sealing techniques is much more difficult to make than a normal sealing scroll. I'll leave this place to you. Work hard. I'm exhausted when you're not here. Yamanaka Haiichi patted him on the shoulder, with a relaxed look on his face. Save some time to spend time with Ino. Don't let Ino grow up and you don't know how to get along with your daughter. Fei Zhu Dragonfly said. Yamanaka glanced at him unexpectedly. Hey, after you have a child, you seem to care more about other children? Of course, the will of fire is emitted at any time. Usually you don't see it, but I take care of the growth of many children. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly pouted. It seems that there is a reason why the 3rd generation is loved by so many ninjas, and the entire village is under his observation. He, Iruka, Naruto, Kakashi, and others were all taken care of by the 3rd generation. He's just a bit old-fashioned and always likes to peek. Just like when he gave Inuzuka Hana and the others some trouble before, 3rd generation must have seen it. And Yamanaka Haiichi, as the head of the intelligence department, did not see him filled with the will of fire, which greatly damaged his identity as the heir to the will of fire. Yeah, that was my negligence. I will get along well with Ino. Yamanaka Haiichi scratched his head. He did have shortcomings in getting along with his daughter. The intelligence department has too many tasks, which is why he complained that Fei Zukingfeng did not come back to take control of the position quickly. He is not a power man. After reminiscing about old times, the two of them made a good handover, mainly because Fei Zukinging wanted to get to know the 8-month analysis class again. In the past few months, there has actually been nothing going on in the analysis class. It wasn't wartime, so it wasn't that busy. Many people go part-time. Ghost Petty Officer 2nd Class Du Lejeong is a part-time teacher, and Shanghaiman was a guest proctor for the Chunin exam a few months ago. There are also some people who are pretty much the same. They are very free anyway, and can move bricks elsewhere when they are free. Proving once again that his choice was right, the analysis class is the best place for retirement. Even guest appearances on other missions are all simple ones. Spy missions abroad like his are rare. Episode 98. Red Bean. Half a month passed. The work of the Flying Bamboo and Dragonfly Analysis class is on the right track. In fact, during peacetime, people in the analysis class don't have that much work. Without a mind-reading partner, many people would work part-time. There will also be a small number of people who will analyze the ninjutsu information read from corpses in the past to find ways to crack ninjutsu. These all have their own self-operating processes, and Flying Bamboo Dragonfly does not need to take care of them. Laid back. The next one is the Barriers class, which uses the inverted Admiralty barrier technique to further enhance its weight, deployment speed, and prevention of special ninjutsu invasion. But in this regard, there is no such rush. The previous one is enough, we are just researching the new version to prevent the old version from being cracked. Apart from these, Fei Zukingfeng's job is easy. She spends time with her children after get off work every day and takes them around for walks. Occasionally use Shadow Clone to take care of the children and take Calamus for a walk. Such a life is very easy. And the two little guys are getting stronger and stronger. On this day, Ichiraka Ramen and Feiju Dragonfly made an appointment with two people to meet here. Hi, Anko, long time no see, she's getting more and more beautiful. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly walked into the Ichiraku noodle house and saw Madarashi Anko, who was waiting with an impatient expression. When Hongdo saw him, he thought of the fear dominated by the smell of chili pepper again. Hey, why did you invite me out? My mission report has not been processed yet. And why did you invite me here? You should know that I prefer desserts. Is this how you invite someone? And you are still married, you are not interested in me. Hongdo didn't even give Fizz Huddergonfly a chance to speak, and spat it out all at once. The hands that are making ramen are beating, and the ears are flapping. The movements in his hands stopped. Feiju Dragonfly's face was sweating. Hey, don't talk nonsense. I'm here to introduce you to your partner this time. I'll let him treat you to 3-color meatballs later. What are you talking about? He is a very dedicated man. After hearing Fei Zukingfeng's words, he continued to make ramen noodles. What? I'm not interested in men. If you had said this earlier, I wouldn't have come. When Madarashi Anko heard this, his face immediately turned red and he yelled. Besides, there are a lot of men chasing me, but I just don't accept their love. I know, I think if you like desserts so much, you might grow into an old girl with a big face and a round waist. By then no one will want you, don't worry. The person I introduced is my proud disciple, and he is now organized by Jonin. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly thought of Boruto's red beans and shuddered. No one really wants them. When Hongdo heard that she was an old girl with a big face and a round waist, her veins popped out and her hands made a crunching sound. Hole, no one wants you, and I'm a ninja. How could I become fat-faced and round-waisted? Hongdo only heard her own bad words. Ta-ta. At this moment, a figure walked in from outside. Teacher. The iron wire is here, come and take a look, this is what I told you before. The outstanding female ninja, the next Tsunade-sama of Konoha. Come and get to know each other. When Feiju Dragonfly saw his disciple arriving, his eyes lit up and he quickly pulled him to introduce him. Then he said to Hongdo, look, this is the thorn iron wire. My disciple is the same age as you, so he couldn't be more suitable. After hearing him say that she was the next Tsunade-sama, Anko put away her anger and looked at the thorny iron wire. An ordinary face with a ponytail and an awkward smile. Madarashi Anko, hello. Hello, Thorny Iron Wire. Thorny Iron Wire also looked at this female ninja whom the teacher thought was good. Purple hair, capable eyes, bright eyes. The embarrassment of blind dates spread to the ninja world. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly looked at the embarrassed two people and picked his feet in embarrassment. Okay, you can go out and chat together, I won't disturb you anymore. Bang. After saying that, he disappeared. This made the two of them even more embarrassed. In fact, the Flying Bamboo Dragonfly did not move away, but used Genjutsu to reduce its presence and hid in the corner to watch. The first time I introduced someone to someone, it was quite embarrassing. But he wanted to know whether this pair could succeed. I don't know if this is a quirk when introducing someone to someone. He wasn't like this before. Come on, Iron Line, take her down, and then you will be a family of 2 jonin. Anko is not a jonin yet, but she will be in the future. Anko, are you jonin? Aha, I was just promoted. Taisien smiled awkwardly. Don't know what to say. I feel like I want to communicate, but I don't know what to say. He never imagined that the teacher would be so resolute. It had only been a while, but he was introduced to a blind date so quickly. In fact, he felt that there was no need to be in such a hurry. Are you mute? I'm beginning to wonder how you, jonin, got here. Ahaha, it's just my first time getting along with a girl, so I'm a little overwhelmed. Are you a disciple of Flying Bamboo Dragonfly? Well, when we came out of school, the teacher led the team. Then have you tried his Genjutsu? That disgusting Genjutsu? Of course, the teacher used this trick to punish us so that we didn't dare to be lazy. Do you hold a grudge against this? No, the teacher is very good to us. Nonsense, you must have wanted to beat him for a moment and let him taste those things, right? A little bit. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly started to listen and jumped anxiously. How could any girl ask and answer questions? She was a Kuchiki. But something gradually started to go wrong. Good guy, it turns out that you, like Irika, have the idea of beating me up in your heart, right? Since these two are like this, Mibu Shinobu must also think so. There will be something nice for you in the future. Well, I think you're okay. Let's go on a date and try to get along. Hondo suddenly said. Thorny Taisien was confused. Are you going on a date so suddenly? It's a date. I like 3-color meatballs and red bean soup. Wouldn't you like it? No way. Then let's go. Hondo patted his shoulder carelessly and walked out of the door. Thorny Iron Line followed him in confusion. No, the development is a bit too fast. What do you mean by not being interested in men? Damn, you're not trying to steal my disciples' money to buy desserts, are you? Flying Bamboo Dragonfly was also confused, remembering the tricks of those women in her previous life, and the awkward and embarrassed look of the thorny iron wire. Isn't this something Hondo can handle? Oh my god, this change of attitude is too fast. He hurriedly followed out, showing his ninja qualities to the fullest, and followed openly. Anyway, they can't crack this ninjutsu. Hope his introduction is right. Yesterday, the 2 bosses of the Immortal Regrets But I Don't Regret and 1,000 Feathers Falling Cherry Blossoms supported nearly 600 people who sent power for love, as well as other supportive treasures. They still didn't get enough episodes. Today there are only 3 episodes. I will add these together tomorrow, I just have a break. Also, I don't know if there is a channel. If someone tips on other external sites, I can't see it. Come to Tomato Novels and read it. Don't give me bad reviews on other external sites. I can only see it. The rating is off, I can't see what you said. Episode 99, Concept of Illusion Body Technique. Konoha Street. Feiju Dragonfly peeped at the 2 people's behavior openly, while Hondo and Taisien turned a blind eye to him, including the surrounding residents. It's like he is someone who doesn't exist in this world. Watching them eating here, eating there, and paying the bills non-stop, I felt that I had introduced the wrong person. If Anko has to eat a lot of beans every day, even with Jonin's income, I feel like I can't last long. The 2 seemed to be getting familiar with each other gradually, and the thorny iron wire was slowly released. There was also some interaction. However, the initiative has always been in Hondo's hands. Idiot, remember when I was chasing Iris, the initiative was always in my hands. Flying Bamboo Dragonfly felt that this disciple was really stupid, and he only had some talent as a ninja. But watching the 2 of them interact, it reminded him of how he was like that back then, which was beautiful. It's wonderful now too. Unknowingly, he has lived in the ninja world for 7 years, growing from an 11-year-old boy to an 18-year-old young man. He has fought in ninja wars, been a teacher, and been a spy. There is also a wife and children. Time really flies by, everything is beautiful, but the ninja world is always troubled, which is a bit bad. Suddenly, he saw an acquaintance on the street. Shinji Gate. Former teammates, now subordinates. Now. Shanghaiman held a girl's hand, chatting and laughing, and eating skewers 1 bite at a time. Hiss. I asked you why I haven't seen you at work these days, and I haven't heard about you working part-time. It turns out that he ran out to pick up girls, and he seemed to be in a good relationship. The flying bamboos and dragonflies were happy for him. And I saw an acquaintance find love. However, he remembered that the Shanghaiman in the original work probably didn't have a partner. Could it be that when he saw that he had a wife, he was stimulated and quickly found her? Looking at the iron wire and red beans that have gone away, flying bamboo dragonfly feels that the 8 trigrams of Shanghaiman is more interesting. Let him handle the disciples' affairs by himself. He is just a matchmaker, his responsibility has been fulfilled. Flying bamboo dragonfly maintains Genjutsu and comes to Seizaman. Brother Shanghaiman, you are so kind. Of course, I only have you in my heart and I will love you for 10,000 years. Damn. Don't dislike this gift for you. The girl kissed him on the face. How could that be possible? Shanghaiman said in high spirits. I remember you said before that you didn't want to find a wife at first, why did you suddenly change? It was like this, just another colleague in the analysis class. He always showed off his love in front of me. I couldn't stand it and vowed to let him eat dog food. Until I met you, it didn't matter whether he ate or not, as long as you were by my side. His feelings didn't matter anymore. Shanghaiman said with tenderness. The girl was very happy, really, I feel so shy when you say that. When the time comes, I will accompany you to him. Can we also show off our affection? Really? Show me, I've already eaten dog food. Fortunately, I have a child. You will be playing tricks on Guangong all your life. The flying bamboo dragonfly walked on the street and spat on the ground. After completing the 8 trigrams for the day, he walked towards Konoha Hospital. The leisure time of the day is over, and it's time to get down to business. Konoha Hospital is a very large hospital, covering a very large area. At the gate, you can see some people coming in and out from time to time. Most of them are ninjas, and a small number are ordinary residents. As the center of the medical department, Flying Bamboo Dragonfly is also in contact. The job of the analysis team is to collect information from the corpse's brain, as well as information from the body. Naturally, there will be a handover with the body disposal team under the Konoha Medical Department. Some dead ninjas in Konoha will be thrown to the analysis team to analyze the cause of death and the enemy's methods. After this part of the work is completed, the corpse will be transferred to the corpse processing team for processing traces of the corpse. The purpose of his coming here is to learn medical knowledge. He wants to develop a phantom jutsu system. For example, Genjutsu self-healing. It was developed by him, using the combination of medical knowledge and Genjutsu knowledge. You must have enough understanding of the part of the body that Genjutsu deceives. The deeper the understanding, the more targeted it will be. That way the chakra consumed will be smaller. If the entire body is deceived, the chakra consumption will become larger and there will be a limit to the body's ability to withstand it. Genjutsu can trick your body, but the body's self-healing requires energy. The more targeted it is, the less it consumes. 7 years ago, the reason why this was not developed extensively was because Genjutsu's ability system at that time was not mature enough in his opinion. This type of Genjutsu, which requires the use of one's own body for experimentation, naturally ran aground. Instead, it is used to develop the 5 senses Genjutsu, as well as the art of mind reading and real Genjutsu. Now he feels that the 5-sense Genjutsu has been developed very maturely, and it is more than enough to deal with ordinary jonin, combined with other ninjutsu, one-on-one. Furthermore, if you face ninjutsu that absorbs chakra such as Dark Style or Sealing Seal, physical attacks are still the most efficient. What Hibambu Dragonfly was thinking of was to face Hiroshima's Dark Style, Hungry Kito's Seal, 6 Paths Obito, 6 Paths Madara's normal ninjutsu immunity and other methods. Physical skills are the first priority. And if he develops a genjutsu that can deceive the body and greatly improve physical abilities, the genjutsu that acts on himself will not be affected by other people's ninjutsu or abilities. This is his way to deal with enemies, including Otsutsuki. He would like to try Sage Jutsu, but he has no skills. It's better to forget about his own research, he doesn't want to become an immovable stone elephant. There are old ones at the top and young ones at the bottom. If they can't stand the tossing, there is no need to do so. When Genjutsu reaches its highest level, whether it's Kurama Yakumo's abnormal abilities, the development of phantom techniques, or the in-depth development of his eye-touching hand, he can. Look at other people's Izanagi and Izanami, they are not Sage Jutsu, they are the same. To sum up, the current development direction of Flying Bamboo Dragonfly is to target enemies for which ninjutsu is ineffective. I came to the medical information department of the hospital, greeted the person in charge, and started learning medical knowledge. As Jonin, the leader of the analysis team and a high-ranking member of Konoha, everyone respectfully calls him Sama. Let flying bamboo dragonfly save you a lot of troubles. Medical knowledge is as vast as the sea, and he quickly sank into it. The capital of the Fire Nation. Guards. Whoosh. A team looked like elite men and horses, half kneeling on the ground. The clothes are different, but they all wear armbands, and the armband is the word fire. In front of them were two people. Asma, congratulations, you are finally going home. Dilu congratulated Asma. It has been 4 years since I met Asma, and the two have developed a friendship of fighting side by side. Asma took out a lighter and lit a cigarette. Yes, after so much time and so many experiences, I barely found a sense of protection. This time, Asma led the team to study in Konoha. Okay, let's work harder today. The data is out. Yesterday, we were only 4 episodes short of adding an episode for power generation for love. I made up for it today, but I won't have to make up for it tomorrow. Thank you for your support, Your Majesty. I am working day and night to write an episode for you. Episode 100. Iron Block. Yuin Village. The lantern grass head came out and stood next to Pain. There's good news. Pain, say. There are still 10 days left in the Fire Nation. They will send people to Konoha for further training in Genjutsu. Didn't you almost fall into the hands of Konoha flying bamboo dragonfly last time? This time I will infiltrate the guards agency of the Land of Fire. Let me learn Konoha's Genjutsu solution for you. Ju's eyes were like mung beans, and he said with a smile. He was really shocked last time. It was simply unbelievable that Nagato, who was a genius in his own right and had the power of the Samsara Eye, could use Genjutsu to seal all 6 puppets. This Genjutsu ability. Unless it was Mangekyo Sharingan's forbidden technique, he couldn't think of anyone else who could do it. The Sage of 6 Paths is more than 1,000 years old. There are only a few such Genjutsu abilities in each era. So this time, he found an opportunity to obtain information, and he would not let it go. It's just that in name, Pain is still the leader of Shao, so he naturally has to report. Pain paused, don't get discovered. That kind of Genjutsu ability, after so long research, he has found a way to deal with it. But if there is a more convenient solution to the spell, it will be more beneficial to the battle. He thinks he is a god. But we dare not underestimate the power of the 5 major countries. Only with caution can we end the world and restore order. Don't worry, don't you still believe in my intelligence capabilities? Ju smiled, slowly blended into the ground, and disappeared in front of Pain. Pain looked down at Yuin Village from a height, with a myriad of thoughts. Training ground number 98. A 3-meter-high earthen wall stands. Genjutsu Iron Block. As Genjutsu is performed, the chakra of flying bamboo dragonfly's right hand spreads in the meridian system, and at the same time a stream of chakra rushes into the brain. A special nerve signal sends instructions to the right hand from the brain. Combined with the chakra on the right hand, a special change in properties is formed. The right hand gradually turns black. Chakra transforms into special properties, filling the muscles, cells, bone seams, joints, skin, and meridian system of the right hand. Feiju and Dragonfly shook hands. There is a feeling that the world is in your hands. Looking at the earth flow wall created by Earth Style in front of me. A wave of his right hand. Boom. Click. Bang. The sound breaks through the air. The sound of bones breaking. The crackling sound of the earth flow wall being hit. Where the fist comes into contact with the earth flow wall, the air is compressed within 3 inches of the fist. Before it touches the earth flow wall, it forms a cone-shaped depression at the center. Then the compressed air explodes, and the entire earth flow wall is destroyed inch by inch. The air blast also lifted the ground up in a fan shape. Only a base remains. Snort. Flying bamboo dragonfly groaned. He felt that the bones and muscles and ligaments at the connection between his arm and shoulder were broken. As the spell was lifted, the whole hand dropped. The left hand releases the Sage Jutsu, using the learned medical skills to provide first aid. It still doesn't work. Although the Genjutsu function of the finishing hand allowed me to use style to create an inexhaustible property change, creating a second set of independent and connected muscles, bones and flesh system in the arm, which can exert the power to a further limit, but the recoil will make it the body is under tremendous pressure. After Feiju Dragonfly briefly treated his arm, he walked towards Konoha Hospital. Muscular system. It was he who came up with various special animal structures, such as the ant's 100-fold lifting structure, the bird's tail mantis shrimp, the frog's thigh and other structures. On the original body. Using the Ein-style property change and adding a second set of precisely calculated structural systems, the body's strength can be explosively enhanced and it can be as hard as iron. But just like 8 Gates Duanjia also has a price. The price he paid was the temporary loss of use of one arm. If it is not cured, there will be hidden injuries, just like Naruto's wind release Raisin Shuriken. At this stage, it can be regarded as a kind of forbidden technique. The power of this prototype ninjutsu is no worse than Tsunade's strange power punch, or even better. When his ninjutsu is fully developed, it will not be a dream for kunai to stab Susan. When I arrived at the hospital, I received treatment from the medical ninja in their unfazed eyes. This is the 10th time in 5 days that I have come in for treatment. From the first day of study, he quickly absorbed the essence of medical skills in muscles, bones, and nerves, and couldn't wait to develop ninjutsu. For a tome-like medical skill, which can give people a headache just by looking at it, even if Feizu Kingfei has a good mind, he can only learn the aspects he needs. It's not just medical ninjutsu, it's mainly the knowledge inside. I heard that he is Master Jonin. Why do he keep getting injured in the village? Could it be that someone invaded? He's so handsome. I want his contact information. Don't think about it, he already has a wife and 2 children. So what's the matter? Ninjas are such an agile profession, but they can still be stabbed to death by kunai. Some female medical ninjas talked about strange things. From time to time, my eyes fall on the flying bamboo dragonfly. After sending the female doctor away, Feizu Kingting scratched his head, thinking it was time to speed up the progress and finish the bandage that was blocking the trouble. Lying on the hospital bed, I picked up a medical book and started reading. Click. Before long, the door opened and a huge body was carried in by the doctor. Placed on the hospital bed next to flying bamboo dragonfly. Hey, Senior Dingzhua? Feizu Dragonfly looked at the seriously injured Dingzhua and felt confused. Who could hurt Dingzhua like this? When Dingzhua saw him, he turned around and smiled. Hey, Dragonfly, why are you injured too? I, developing a new ninjutsu, got kicked back. What about you, Senior Dingzhou? Flying bamboo dragonfly is curious. Dingzhou is an elite jonin who has never been intimidated by 9 tails. I met 3 tails, had a fight with him, and got F*** edition. Dingzhou smiled sheepishly. 3 tails? Yeah, for some reason, it ran into a lake deep in the country of fire. We were tasked to guard it to prevent it from disappearing suddenly and causing damage to the country of fire. But it was discovered, so we did it shelf. That's really amazing. That's a tailed beast. When I saw 9 tails, I was shocked by its power. Hey, even after using the family's secret medicine, I was still seriously injured. Fortunately, 3 tails felt that we were not easy to mess with, so they slipped into the lake and couldn't come out. Dingzhua was still frightened. Don't tell anyone else, the tailed beast is confidential information. He finally warned. Tell Flying Bamboo Dragonfly, naturally he has always been on their side and is a very capable ninja. Now he has taken over Yamanaka Haiichi's class and became the monitor of the analysis class. He is also considered a high-ranking member of Konoha. This kind of ninja who has risen step by step from Konoha is still a ninja with a family and is trustworthy. Then you should say less. What if I accidentally let it slip? Feizu Dragonfly said with a smile. Dingzhua smiled. I believe you. What kind of ninjutsu did you develop? Maybe I can give you some inspiration. Since we are all in the hospital anyway, it would be nice to chat.